This week on Test Drive we take a look at the latest edition of the original pocket rocket. This is the Volkswagen GTI VR6, a car that has the potential to brighten even the drabbest of days.
The secret to the new GTI VR6 is the power plant under the hood. At 172 horsepower and 173 pounds-feet of torque, there is no shortage of pull. Mash the gas pedal at just about any speed and this car scoots, and I mean quickly.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at one of the world's finest engines. This is a 2.8 litre narrow-angle V6. What's so special? The 15-degree V allows them to use a single cylinder head for both banks. The result? A V6 engine with V6 power in a package that's barely larger than a four-banger.
The clever design of the engine does not mean that it's overly technical. Indeed, there are only 2 valves per cylinder, which helps low-end punch, and the camshafts are driven by a chain rather than a belt. In the run from rest to 100 km an hour, the GTI VR6 requires just over 7.5 seconds, making it one of the quicker cars around. This engine also achieves its peak performance whilst returning reasonably good fuel mileage. During the test, which by the way is not exactly conducive to producing the best numbers, we managed about 10 litres per 100 kilometres or 28 miles per gallon. Matched with the VR6 is a 5-speed manual box that leaves a little to be desired. The gear lever does not feel as though it is connected to anything at the other end, and second, the throws are long and ungainly. The fact that the clutch doesn't bite until the very end of its travel doesn't help things either. On a more positive note, the ratios are perfectly matched to the engine. The suspension features McPherson struts up front and a torsion beam axle in back. Befitting a car in this category, the VR6 also gets substantial sway bars at both ends. It also is stiffer and about 10mm lower than its 4-cylinder counterpart. Rough ride? Not at all. The comfort is all it should be given the sporting nature of the car. Large bumps are swallowed in stride and much of the small stuff is effectively filtered out.
A lot of people say, why bother with a pylon test? Well, I'll tell you something, it's a lot of fun. But more importantly, this GTI demonstrates quite graphically just how good modern cars are when it comes to evasive maneuvers. People would never drive like this out on the open highway, but this car handles it very well. The only thing I'm noticing is that every time you push it hard into a corner, it lifts the inside rear wheel.
Helping matters a great deal is the precise rack and pinion steering and healthy 205/15 tyres. Stopping power is supplied by a 4-wheel disc brake setup that puts vented rotors at the front and solid in back. Anti-lock brakes are, of course, standard fare. The stops are both quick and highly controllable. During the usual brake test, it required just under 114 feet to come to rest from 80k. The fact that the ABS butts out until absolutely necessary is a huge bonus.
The interior of the Golf GTI is typically Teutonic. In other words, it's understated, eminently practical, but very boring. Heater controls, wonderful. Radio, they get a pass, although some of the buttons are a bit fiddly. My criticism, in putting in an airbag, they deprived you of the glove box, meaning that interior storage is at a definite premium.
Elsewhere, the VR6 comes loaded. Power locks, power windows with a one-touch down feature, a power moonroof, a trip computer and anti-theft alarm. I have a sneaking suspicion that this will be a very much needed item. On the safety front, the GTI VR6 comes with standard anti-lock brakes, dual airbags and side impact members. In short, all the necessary items.
Well, that's it for this edition of Test Drive and the Volkswagen GTI VR6. You know, this car is a wonderful machine. It's got one of the sweetest engines in the world and it handles like there's no tomorrow. The problem is, it's no longer a pocket rocket. Whilst it's still got the rocket to its name, you've got to have very deep pockets because of the price.
So here's the question, where were you 32 years ago? I know some of you weren't even a glint in your father's eye. As for me, well, I was in diapers but found time to get Motoring TV off the ground. And today I like to think we've got one of the best automotive video libraries in the world. If you agree, please give us the thumbs up and also subscribe. We'd really appreciate it.